St. Crispin's Day speech, Henry V. If we are marked to die, we are now to do our country loss. And if to live, the fewer men, the greater share the honor. From this day to the end of the world, but we in it shall be remembered. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today who sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. Theodore Roosevelt's The Man in the Arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes up short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasm and great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement? And who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold, timid souls who knew neither defeat nor victory.
John 15, 12 through 13. This is my commandment, that you love one another even as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, than to lay down his life for his friends. Isaiah 6:8. And I heard the voice of the Lord saying, whom shall I send, and who will go for us? Then I said, here am I, send me.
I think the thing that stands out most about his character is his humility. A lot of guys, they kind of seek accolades and stuff like that, and that wasn't Steve. He excelled in a lot of things, and he didn't get credit for it, but he never sought that out. So, like the things that he was exceptional in, he'd always find a way to twist it and make you feel like you were exceptional at it. And I always thought that was funny, because when we were going through the Q course together, Steve was the fastest runner, and he would always come up to me and tell me how fast I was, and I thought it was the craziest thing. And then when we ended up on the same team, he would do that all the time in the gym, at the range, when we were talking about specific topics, when we were planning for missions. He'd always tell somebody that's an awesome idea, even though it was kind of his idea in a sense, you know what I mean? He always found a way to build others up.
I think the biggest influence Steve had on me was just his work ethic.
He has probably the strongest work ethic that I've ever seen.
A lot of experience, and so he was definitely a guy that I would bounce ideas off of, and directions I wanted to go, I'd bounce it off of my senior guys, and he was definitely one of those dudes that carried a lot of weight. I respected his viewpoint and his opinion very much.
I don't know if he was just that smart or he just worked that hard to know that much about his job. Either way, I didn't know anyone more competent for what he did.
He was the kind of guy, you might never say it to his face or anything, but you would be like, man, I need to be more like Steve, because Steve's doing it right.
He was kind of the rock on this team.
Steve always knew when to just like suck it up and have that good military discipline, and then explode when we get back somewhere private, and that's, yeah.
He always put all of his effort in everything he did, and it didn't matter how he felt about it. He just did it because he knew that was the right thing for the team. And that was kind of the impact that he had that guys didn't realize until he passed, what big of an influence he had on everybody.
Spare time, if he had spare time, he was using it to help other people.
he wanted to contribute as much as he could to the team, and that bled into more than just his MOS and what he did on the team, I think.
There's always more you can do to prepare, and it never ends. It's a constant process, and he just was always on top of it.
Like, his kit and everything that he had was set up perfectly. Like, there was a reason for where everything was placed on his kit, and he would take guys and he would sit there and he'd help them. Like, he could be talking to his family or he could be doing something for himself, but he was always doing something for somebody else. And I think that's kind of the level of dedication Steve had and the devotion he had to the ODA. He didn't spend a lot of spare time on whatever he wanted to do. He did what he felt was right, and it was always for somebody else.
He always showed up more prepared than me, which is difficult because you think you go through all the right steps, you got your kit set up perfectly, and then you show up and you see that he's made some adjustment to his kit, or in some fashion he's more prepared than you, and you're like, every time, you know. And he's up earlier than you. He's ready before you. He's a good dude.
Buddy, you're definitely going to be missed. Miss you now, we're going to miss you for a long time. The day we headed out on the mission where Steve got killed,
Getting ready for the mission, linking up with Partner Force, and
that morning in the trucks, we'd spent talking about our kids.
you know, just to listen to how he talked about his kids and how big they're getting, how smart they were, and how they were. You know, both those boys are just absolute roughhousers. And
he was so proud of both of them. Just the way he talked, so excited watching them grow up. He said his youngest was a whirlwind, just strong as hell. And his oldest, he said he didn't understand how he was so nice. Just a nice kid. He claimed he had no idea where it came from.
yeah, and so legitimately right before we rolled the gate, he was talking about Shelly and the kids and how much he missed them, you know.
And I know he loved his wife tremendously, just by the way he talked about her. The way his face would light up when he talked about his boys. That'll always stick with me.
Steve loved his family. He did. He always spoke really highly of them.
He was doing the job he loved with the people he loved, and we know he wasn't alone in the end.
He was doing it for everybody. The country he loved.
He did it for everybody, for this country. We knew this made the ultimate sacrifice for our freedom.